Hi guys, this is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about personal development. And today I want to talk to you about the ego. And this hasn't been a topic of mine for a long time. I haven't really looked into it, but it's been very much interesting to me the last weeks because I caught myself over and over again, acting out of my ego. I was at a bar and I was talking to somebody, and then like after a while I realized how I kept on always making little remarks for him to realize that I'm older than him, that I have more experience than him, because I felt like this guy wanted to let me think like, oh, he's like this great big shot and he's accomplished so much. And he didn't even do it out of like really trying to impress me that much, but I still felt like he didn't know what I was doing, what I was about. And so I said, yeah, well, I've been working, for so long, and I did this and I did that. And afterwards I was just like, why in the world would I do that? And similar situations the other day. And so it's really funny because I don't think that before that I didn't have situations where I acted out of my ego. I just think that in a lot of ways I wasn't aware of it. And now once you become aware of it, you become separate of it. You realize, okay, I'm not my ego. My ego is one place, I'm somewhere else. I'm detached from that. And you can see how to react towards it. Are you going to let your ego win? Why shouldn't you let your ego win? Is it even the point? Because I have friends who say like, yeah, you can optimize yourself like to the infinity. Why would you do that? Who cares? The thing is, you can also achieve more once you have your ego under control. Like the ego makes you reactive in situations where it's not helpful to you. So if you have, for example, I have it quite often that when I'm with men, like I talk to them and I see that they're kind of attracted to me and they want to like talk to me in a way of you're just trying to get a connection. There's always this thing of, it's not like always, but in a lot of ways it's a little boasting. It's a little bit, I did that, I have that. And it's, of course, I know from a point of, it might be insecurity that you don't feel you can talk to me on a, normal basis. It's just hard if people haven't really thought about the ego at all. And it happens, it's not like I have no understanding for it, but it really keeps them from really meeting me. It keeps them from making a connection with me. And this is not just me, it's just like wherever you do, if you feel like you have to always act out of your ego, you will never have like a true connection and really get to know somebody, right? It's just like, I'm pretending to be better than you are, so therefore I feel I have more security. And as I said, I did it the other day, and it wasn't even somebody, like for me, it wasn't like a romantic interest. It was just somebody I got into a conversation with. But apparently I had this ego thing of, oh, I cannot have him feel like I'm not accomplished. And in the end, it's because in some kind of way, I feel like I'm not accomplished or whatever it is. And once you're able to really remove that ego factor, you can have real connections. And on top of everything, you can act in situations who really bring you forward. So let's say all those guys that, let's say, don't have a shot with me because they talk to me that way, they would have a shot with me once they really let go of this ego and were willing to really show up as they are. So there is a negative like a side effect by using their ego, because most of us can tell when people are using their ego, right? And it's like this also when you talk like to your boss, when you talk to people who are actually looking up to you. It can be in what kind of situations are you choosing for your life? We have things that we say, okay, I cannot give up this job because that my ego couldn't take that, because that would mean I'm a failure. Once you realize, okay, I'm separate from my ego and I can do that because my ego is like getting smaller and smaller, you can decide what is actually what I wanted to do, and I'll be okay with my ego losing at that point because I know my ego is not me. It won't get me there. And what I think a lot of us are aware of this ego thing. I think a lot of us are at a point where we know this is the ego separate from the self, but we still want it to win. You know, like I had for the longest time, especially when I got into situations with, let's say, guys, and they were trying to like ego boast. I reacted in a way of, okay, like I know you have a great ego and this is great. Guess what? I can play this game better than you. And then I was acting also really boasty and really, you know, like full of myself, but in such a confident manner because I knew this had nothing to do with me. But you know, it was like this was a game I would never lose because I wasn't attached to my ego. But that's not the solution. Let me tell you that, because in the end, what happens is you push yourself to say like one of those two people is gonna lose with their ego. And normally, if you have a person who acts directly out of their ego and the other person in the beginning tries to, you know, calm them down, but they keep on going, and then you're the one who says, okay, I'm just gonna play also the ego because that person then finds out, you know, you can't mess with me. There will be a loser. There will be a loser. Maybe even if it was the other person, they will dislike you after that. It can be like your boss, whatever it is. Like, it doesn't matter. If you have a person who acts out of their ego because there is still an attachment to it, they're scared to lose from it, then, you know, they will not forgive you in that way. You cannot have a connection with somebody if you make them lose their ego that way. The only way it works, and this is what I have been realizing more like consciously really the last weeks, the only way it really works is that you don't answer in your ego way at all. So now when I have situations like this with guys, I don't even want to play that game. Like I was so good at this game when I was like 25, and like I thought like, okay, I will just make them lose and then we can like really be ourselves. And this is not the way, because you're still acting out of your ego. If you're okay with that, you'll just be, and somebody acts like this and they say like, yeah, I make so much money, or I'm so much better than you, or I know what you're doing, or whatever it is, you know, just don't react in a way of, yeah, so like, why do you have to like punch that, like, or just like bring that beast of ego out? You know, instead you can just like make that person aware that you don't like the way this is going. If you want to have a connection with that person, then it's going to be on a completely, you know, like human level of, I'm on the same level as you are. We're going to have a connection because like I want to have connections with people. And the fact that you have whatever it is you have more than me or less than me won't make a difference. But it can only happen if you're willing and don't react towards it. If somebody pushes you with their ego, you don't push back with your ego. It does not matter if your ego is better or not. And the cool thing is, once you're really at this point where you want honesty in that kind of way, and being like, you know, I'm not going to use my ego in a way to boast myself or to make myself look cool or special. Like, don't think because you're an INFJ or, you know, like a really sensitive person that you're not using your ego because you don't like make other people feel that you're like this boastful, oh, I'm all popular person. Like having this ego of I'm somebody unique, I'm somebody special is just as unhealthy for you as everything else, right? It really won't make you happy. So if you're able to connect with people on a level of, I don't think I'm something better than you, but I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna keep my integrity. I'm not gonna let anybody treat me bad, and I'm not gonna let people talk to me from an ego-based point because they have a problem. Because guess what? It really is hurtful and it's not good for your soul if you let other people act out of the ego because you think, well, I understand they're acting out of their ego. It's because they're suffering. It's because they're doing this and that. Still have no acceptance of this, because once you're like saying, okay, I'm staying firm in who I am and I'm gonna act as much as I can, you know, it's always this fear, but as much as I can from my truth and from like honesty and wanting just like, you know, a positive atmosphere, and I'm not gonna play with you who of us has like the better ego or who has like the better image or whatever it is, people will start trusting you. Because you don't trust people because they're good to you, you trust people who are honest to you. And if you stay like this, if you don't switch from being this person who acts out of ego or who can pretend to play out of ego, or the person who pretends like, yeah, I don't see that you have an ego, and the other time you're saying, oh, actually I knew all along that you had an ego and that's why I acted like this. If you stay like really honest and you're really being of, you know, I'm not going to accept you talking to me like this. It doesn't have to be that you like verbally say it. It's just that you don't, you know, react towards it. If you see people talking like this and you feel like, yeah, but this is not what I want to talk to you about, people sense that there's no truth behind it. But once you're really like from this integrity, people will stop. They will see that you are being honest and you're just like really coming from this positive place, and you will see how people with time will start being in that place with you, because they know, I don't have to be scared. I know what's waiting for me there, because she or he is not going to go into ego mode to hurt me. Because they are, you know, set for themselves the standard that they're gonna set and stay in this out of ego space. Like these ego things happen to me with people I just meet. It still happens to me, but you know, as I said, I'm more aware of it. That, you know, sometimes I act out of ego. I've been to a point where I'm like far away from really having an ego of, oh, I think like you like me more than I like you, that kind of way, but more of feeling accomplished, feeling I have, you know, made something out of myself. I still catch myself in these situations, but this is also getting better. And it's just impressing me and surprising me how people actually switch and become more like you. They start talking to you from this sense of, yeah, there is complete trust in this truth. We are connected there. You know, I can be myself and I can be more vulnerable around Wenzes, for example, because I know she's not going to get in her ego mode and hurt me for whatever it is. So that's why it's not necessary for you to prove how strong your ego is. You stay in that space, and especially if you're going to see those people 2 or 3 times, you know that this is not just a one-time thing. You'll be surprised how from time to time they will realize, okay, I cannot get further with that person by using my ego. And they always stay in this truthful state. So first off, I can trust them, and that's the only way I can really have a connection with that person and find out why, you know, that energy that's surrounding that person is so interesting to me. So those are my things on ego. I have another video coming up on the ego, and we'll see after that. I always try to talk about the things that are on my mind right now, and see what you think about it. So let me know in the comments below how you handle the whole ego thing, at what point you're at. I used to think like it's necessary to have a good ego. Now I know it's not really, because you can still play around and create like great things, you know. In certain situations, if you're playing like a game, you know, it's good to be like the winner, that's like part of the game, and have fun with it, but that we're detached to it and we just act consciously when we really get into it or play that game, but it's not something that we do out of just a reaction. So let me know in the comments below. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe and click the bell notifications so you never miss another step to your success when another video of mine is coming out. I wish you a great day, and I talk to you next time. Bye.